what you're about to watch and witness is 100% true, no acting involved. I just want to show you how strong players play so fast and think ahead of time, how they calculate 3 moves ahead and still able to defeat their opponents. I'm also going to prove to you guys that strong players don't even think that much when playing chess. So how am I going to do this? First of all, I'm going to play the first game where I'm just going to be making pre-moves, and that means I'm going to be playing at least 3 moves in advance before my opponent makes their moves. So I'm going to be making a series of pre-moves just to show you how strong players use their intuition when playing against you. And then after the game, I'm going to do a slow analysis for you guys who will find my pre-moves confusing. So don't skip this video. The analysis part will be so exciting. So let me play the first game on chess.com against a random opponent. Let's go. Right. So I'm playing against a 2151 rated opponent on chess.com, and there we see pawn to d4. So against pawn to d4, let me just go with the King's Indian defense. I'll play the highlighted moves, by the way. So just removing right now. So this is the King's Indian defense, and I've played all these things in advance. I'm not even playing anything right now. All these moves are happening automatically until now. Okay, bishop e3. Bishop e3 by white. I sense white to play e5 here, so I should pre-move. Sorry, I should pre-move knight e8 and then knight d7, then pawn to e5. Let's do that, and then s6 later on. So knight e8, knight d7, e5, and s6. Look at that. Chess is playing itself. I'm not doing anything here. I'm just pre-moving like a mad person. Wow. So pre-move again. Don't worry, for you guys who find this confusing, I'm going to do a slow analysis so that you can also appreciate. So take. So it's not every time you will see strong players pre-moving. Sometimes they also take time to think. I mean, their time to think. Okay, there, h5, h5. What am I going to do? Maybe queen d7 and then knight a4. I couldn't pre-move this because the position is not that clear. So you only want to pre-move when the position is clear. So bishop h6. I think let me go knight a4. Just going for the attack. So another way you will make your pre-moves to work is if you continue playing attacking moves. So okay, this is a blunder. This looks like a blunder. I have pawn to c3. Pawn to c3. Yeah, pawn to c3 is a very good move. Great move. Trying to separate white's queen from the rook on the... Okay, now that's... Yeah, that's a blunder. Okay, so there we go, you guys. And there my opponent resigns. So I'm able to defeat a 2152 rated player on chess.com using pre-moves. First of all, you guys, this is not the right way to improve chess. I just want to make a point. Don't try this at home. This is for experienced players out there. If you think you are experienced or you're stronger than your opponent, you can do this in blitz and bullet. This is how we play even in bullet chess, you guys. We pre-move in our minds. And that's why you see those grandmasters playing so fast on chess.com and Lichess. By the way, I've lost a lot of games because of this same pre-moving technique. I just throw up games and donate my elos, which is very bad. So don't try this at home just for learning purposes. Now time for the analysis. Right, so the game just ended, you guys. I'm very happy with this. Very good for content and very good for my elbow. So let me just run you through the game once again. If at all that was too fast for some of you. So my opponent started with d4. And then at this point, I just pre-moved the opening phase of the King's Indian defense, beginning with d6, and then I pre-moved g6, knight to f6, bishop g7, and castle shot. Who am I? So this is one skill that you guys need to learn, and this is what most strong players are good at. They know their openings very well, so they don't really do much of the thinking in the opening stage, and that's what you call playing by intuition. Anyways, after d4, d6 was pre-moved, c4, then g6, everything that I calculated or that I played in advance happened, and this is where the line ended. So my opponent played bishop e3, and then I started calculating what am I going to do. At this point, I can't just pre-move something like knight c6, a6 or whatever, because I have a piece which is exposed to a possible attack. Okay, so if I just play something else in advance, I'm going to lose my knight. So just to be safe, I pre-moved knight e8, first of all moving my knight away from danger, followed by knight d7 and pawn to e5. By pre-moving we mean playing in advance. So this is what happened, knight e8, and then my opponent played knight ge2, just a developing move by the way, maybe trying to put the king's knight on g3 someday, but I just played knight d7, pre-moved by the way. Then queen d2 was played by my opponent in an effort to secure their king by castling long, and then pawn to e5 was automatically played because I had played that in advance. So this is exactly what strong players do. So they only pre-move non-committal moves, okay, those moves that do not expose them to danger. That's the secret. So secret number 1, know your opening very well, and secret number 2, only make non-committal pre-moves, provided that none of your pieces are hanging. Anywho, d5 was played. I think at this point I pre-moved a6 in advance, yep, and then white castled long, and then I pre-moved b5 and ab because I was expecting white to take. This is exactly what happened. Oh no, my opponent played g4 instead of taking, so my pre-move was cancelled. The moves that I played in advance were all cancelled because my opponent played something else. That's what happens. So here I played bc, and then knight g3 was played. This was the part when I stopped pre-moving because it was time to think and come up with a plan. Most of the times when we are pre-moving, we are just making obvious moves without a plan, hoping that our opponent will blunder, or just developmental moves that are non-committal. Anyways, I played knight b6, and I guess I pre-moved rook b8 also just to save time. Oh, first of all I pre-moved cb and then rook b8, but my opponent played h4, and then I played rook b8 anyways, getting rid of this attack. So what am I doing here? In opposite side castled games, what you want to do is whenever you see your opponent start attacking on the king side, you want to start attacking on the queen side as soon as possible. So that's if your opponent begins to attack on the king side, you should immediately think of launching an attack on the queen side or on the center, by breaking the pawn chain on the center. And that's why I played rook b8, preparing for this. h5 was played. I played queen d7. I don't know, I think I pre-moved knight a4 by this time. I just wanted to attack on the queen side. Bishop h6 was played. Then I played knight a4, and after knight takes a4, simply played queen takes a4. There was no need to pre-move by this time. When you are approaching the end game and the position is not that clear, what you want to do is to take your time and just calculate the end game perfectly. Don't rush, don't just make pre-moves if the position in the end game is not clear. That's what strong players do. So king b1 was played, which was a blunder, and I spotted this immediately due to the hanging rook on d1. So I played a tactical move c3 to try and separate the queen from the rook. E.g., if white took with the queen, I was simply going to get rid of the rook with check. Not to mention that their pawn on b2 is pinned to the king. That's why white played pawn to b3, another blunder, after which I just took the queen. They thought they were going to take my queen, but forgetting the pawn was still pinned by my rook on b8, which I played earlier. So nothing much. This is exactly how strong players take advantage of pre-moves against their lower rated opponents, because number 1, they know their openings very well, and number 2, they just want to beat you psychologically. They play by intuition. Number 3, they only pre-move non-committal moves or developmental moves that position their pieces on the most attacking squares. And lastly, strong players only make pre-moves that are safe or when their pieces are safe. So this was just to show you how most strong players make pre-moves in their minds, at least ahead of time, or how they calculate 3 moves in advance. But just like I stated in the intro, do not be deceived. Playing like this won't really improve your chess. You only do it for fun and only if you want to test your intuition or how experienced you are. And it's a shame on my part. I regret disclosing this to you guys. I like doing this nonsense most of the times when I'm playing on chess.com and Lichess. I just make pre-moves while laying back or sleeping on my bed, which is not a good thing because I just end up throwing my elbows for content's sake. I'm a bad guy. But anyways, just take this lesson as an exercise and see how best you can apply this kind of a skill in your games. And lastly, yes, even in longer time control matches like classical chess, we do think ahead of time. We do pre-move in our minds. We don't think while holding a piece, no. So we usually think in our opponent's time, and before pre-moving, make sure that your pieces cannot be attacked immediately or are in safe zones. Right, this is all for today, you guys. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Until next time, have a wonderful day. And hey, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and also get my free E5 defense course, which you can find on my website or on my Patreon page, which is my membership page that you can also join for free. All the links are in the comment section down below. And thank you so much to all my patrons. I've got some very interesting premium content that I'm going to post just for you guys. So stay tuned and wait for the best. Bye bye.